My dog is standing on the patio table. What is he doing? Jasper! What are you doing up there? This is the first time I've seen him on the table. What is he doing? He's such a weird dog. Hey, what's up everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my breeder mice colony. And if you have watched my first two videos on breeding mice for food for my snakes, I did start off with 3 mice originally, 2 females and 1 male. Unfortunately, I am down to 1 of those original females because 2 of them passed away. 1 I had to euthanize because she was growing mammary tumors, but when I did a little autopsy on her, I found out that it was actually baby mice that she never gave birth to, and it started kind of rotting inside her uterus, became an abscess, and eventually it kind of leaked out all over her belly, and she was in a lot of pain. So I'm glad I made the decision to euthanize her. I currently am raising up some litters from one of the other females. So I do have some of the same bloodline, but I did end up buying 2 more females to add to the colony just so that they can have a better gene pool. I am currently up to 4 breeder females and 1 breeder male. And then I'm also raising up a litter of little mice so that I can raise up those females too so that they can add to the colony. So let me show you their enclosure right now. I did upgrade them to a 2-story bin cage, so they have a lot more space to run around than in a 10-gallon tank. In terms of saving money on feeding my snakes, I really do think I probably would have saved more if I had just bought the frozen pinkies for Carlisle instead of raising them, because I do kind of see these mice as pets, and so I have bought a lot of toys and things for them to climb on. I have the hay and a whole bunch of variety of foods that I give them. So the money that I've spent and invested in this colony doesn't really add up to how much money I'm saving by taking their pinkies as food for snakes. Let's go ahead and see their enclosure right now. This is their current little setup. They have a corner of the house that is kind of far away from all my snakes so that their smell doesn't confuse them. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I just figured it would keep any smells that they make also away from like the rest of the living area. So here's the 2-story bin cage. As you can see, it is literally just 2 tubs stacked on top of each other. I don't know the gallon size of these tubs, but these were one of the bigger ones that I could find. So I measured it, and I know that this length measures about 35 inches and that length is about 17 and a half. So maybe I'll do the math and put the number of square footage down here somewhere in the video. So what I did for the top was I cut out a giant hole for ventilation and then secured it with hardware cloth so that the mice could not escape. And the way I did this was I drilled holes in the plastic at certain intervals, and then I used a zip tie to secure the hardware cloth to the plastic lid. So let's open it up and see what we find. And as you can see on the top of the lid, I have hung certain toys that they can climb on. This section right here, that is the rope that allows them to travel between the top and bottom levels. I also had a ladder that was hanging from here, but they chewed off the screws, and so now the ladder just kind of stays wherever. Alright, so let's start off with this section of the enclosure. Here's the rope ladder. It's pulled up from the bottom right now, so now they can't travel down. There's a hole here, and I used PVC pipe tubing so that it could create a lip so that any of the bedding would not keep falling down into the bottom. This is a house that I bought for them. I thought it was super cute and it was only a few bucks, so I got it for them. They love to sleep in here. That's one of the newer mice that I bought. I have shredded paper, which they really like to use as bedding because it's soft. The pine is kiln dried, and I actually decided to stick with kiln dried pine instead of switching to aspen just because it was more cost effective. And after doing a lot of research, a lot of people who breed rats for their snakes also say kiln dried pine is fine for their mice and rats, so I've just decided to stick with it. I also provide some Timothy hay so that they can use for bedding or whatever they want to do with it. I don't know if they eat it, but I do see them pull it inside their little house here right there. Moving along, I also provide any cardboard tubings that I end up having from paper towels or toilet paper rolls just for them to climb through. That is a tampon wrap right there. I really like the idea of recycling things. As you can see here, it's just a cardboard box that came from a shipment. And for this, I just loaded it with shredded paper and some other pieces of paper. This is, I think it was a Walgreens pharmacy bag. They love to chew it up, rustle around in it. So whatever they like to do. And the reason why I like using these recycled things is because if they make it really dirty, all I have to do is toss it out. I don't have to keep cleaning it like I used to. And then over here is their food supply. I made this little dispenser out of the same hardware cloth that I used for their lid. And I just put rodent pellets in here for them to take out. This way they don't take it out all at once and make them all soiled in their bedding. It keeps it dry and it keeps it clean. And then over here is their little seed dish. I use mice and rodent seeds that I get from Walmart, and then I add cat kibble to it so they can have a little bit of protein, as well as some pasta pieces for them to chew on. And then I also take like pieces of paper and I just crunch it up for them to play with. Here's their water bottle. All right, let's put this lid back on top so they can't escape and take a look at the bottom level. So the lid from the bottom tub is actually tied onto the bin of the top tub. So when I lift it, the whole thing comes apart. And I attached them with the same method I used for the hardware cloth. I just drilled holes from the lid that corresponded to holes in the tub, and I used a zip tie to tie them all down together. So here's the layout of the bottom bin. It's pretty similar to the top. They still have their pine bedding and then some shredded paper for nesting material, as well as Timothy hay. And you can see here I've continued to use more cardboard boxes down here as hides. These were the 2 original hides that I made, the little plastic bowls from the original setup. But they're hard to clean because I have to wash them all the time if they poop on it, whereas these I can just toss in the trash. Here are 2 mice. As you can see, they're not very shy. They like me because all I ever do is give them food, and they will let me hold them. They won't bite me or anything. There's another food dispenser that I made for the bottom level. I also have a jar of the same food that is up there. It's that cat kibble seed mixed with pasta. Hey, you two, what are you guys doing? These two, actually this one I bought. That brown mouse is one of the litters that I raised up from Celeste, which is one of my original females. Hey you, see how friendly they are. What are you doing, little brown mouse? What are you doing? Woo! Hi! Come on down. No, climb down. Climb down. Climb down. There you go. Yeah, they're pretty friendly. What you doing? And here's just one of the empty nursing bins I use for the pregnant mice. I have found that if I leave the mice in here to lay their babies, they will be cannibalized. I've tried this multiple times, and every single time the babies have all been eaten. So I'm still using my original method of just taking the mouse out when she's about to give birth and putting her in this little nursing bin so that she can have her own privacy, and I've had huge success using this method. Here's another nursing bin. This is the litter from that little white mouse that I showed you earlier. These are some of their babies. I'm raising up 3 females from here. I also have 1 male, and he will have to be euthanized soon because he's starting to reach sexual maturity. I'm not planning to keep him. I just wanted to get mice of different colors, and I like doing that because that way I can tell them apart when they start breeding, and I can tell which mice needs to be separated from the others, as well as keep track on their health. This is one of the males. This is the 1 male that I have here. The rest of the litter was euthanized when they were pinkies because I needed them to be food for Carlisle. But I kept some of the lighter colored ones because I mostly have dark mice, and these came out with great patterns, and I can definitely tell them apart. There you go down. So that's a female that I'm gonna keep and use her as a breeder. That's another female, and so is this little white one here. She's got a little black spot on her butt. I want to tell you a really cool story about this one right here. The story with this mouse was, before she could open her eyes, when she was still a little fuzzy, I was holding her and she jumped out of my hand and fell on the floor, hit her head, and started bleeding from her nose. She had a little bit of a seizure and then was having difficulty breathing. So I did use therapeutic cooling on her. This is something that's used in hospitals for patients with brain injuries, and I think it worked because the next day she was back to normal, her breathing was normal, her nose stopped bleeding, and she was walking around fine. Before that, she was very unsteady on her feet and she kept having muscle spasms. So now, the only thing that's wrong with her is she is the runt of the litter, and she has microphthalmia, which is one eye is smaller than the other. And if I can get her to turn around, I can kind of show you that. Come here. All right, turn around. Turn around. See, that eye is a lot smaller than the other eye. But other than that, she's eating fine, she's walking fine, and I guess I would consider her a success story. So here's their setup. You've got the little brown one right there coming out of the hole. They're so cute. I know. And they also eat the same food that the mom eats, or that the rest of the adults eat. They have shredded paper as bedding, some boxes. These are probably going to be ready to go into that bigger bin with the rest of the colony in about a week. But for now, they're still kind of at that stage where they're just eating and sleeping most of the time. They're just starting now to explore a little bit. So I might put in some more toys in there later today, but this has been their setup so far. I think they are about 4 weeks old right now. And in this 10-gallon tank, I have my one breeder male. The reason why he's separated from the rest of the colony now is because I'm leaving state for 2 months and I don't want my mice to be breeding when I'm gone. So he's only in this tank for the 2 months when I'm gone, and then he'll be back in the group with the rest of the females full term. And I also don't have a water bottle for him because I just didn't have enough. I don't know why I only have 2. I thought I had more at one point, but every day I've just been switching the water bottles back and forth so that they can get them. He's pretty cute. He's got long hair. He kind of looks like a hamster even. Hey, little dude. What you looking for? Do I have food for you? You gonna nibble on my finger? What you doing? What you doing? And he's got a wheel because he's kind of just by himself. I feel really bad for him because he's got like no one to play with. But I really don't want my mice to be pregnant when I'm gone. So he's been in here for I think about a month now. But as soon as I get back to Florida, I will put him back with the group with his other little female friends. Hey buddy, what you doing? Yeah. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. Leave a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe.